Hey guys, Metal Jesus here, and I'm back again with Radical Reggie.
What's up, buddy?
What's up?
And we are back with another pickups video sooner than later.
I know, last time we went, what, 6 months before we put one out?
Yeah, I didn't even notice. It's so weird, man. But
Well, you know, life just takes over, man.
it does. But you guys noticed, so we're back with another one, and we hope you enjoy. Let's get into it.
All right, who goes first?
Me. Dang it, me. So this is a cool item. This is a promotional item. So some of you guys may know John Lester, Gamester 81. He came out. His company came out with a game called Sidney Hunter and the Curse of the Mayans. This is available on the Switch. Now, this is a promotional item they gave out at the Game On Expo we recently went to.
I am so jealous you have this. I had no idea.
I didn't notice this.
I know.
Yeah. And it comes with Nintendo cartridge.
Oh, dude, I had no idea. When was he giving these out?
Pretty much when we got there.
What?
Yeah. And no game inside, but still, there's a novelty of this could have been any Nintendo game back in the day.
Yeah. So, if you guys don't know, John and his company, Collector Vision Games, they have been working on this game for years. Literally years.
Yeah, I can remember all the way back to PR Portland Retro Gaming Expo, probably 2015, or maybe even earlier than that. John would always bring a build of the game for us to try out.
That might be John on his phone right there.
Yeah, that's probably him. Oh gosh, my phone. But yeah, anyways, guys, it's really cool game.
It is. It's an NES style platforming game. It kind of is similar to. You described it as a computer game. It's definitely, you know, a 2D platforming game. You guys are watching the footage right now.
It reminds me of an old school game I used to play called Pharaoh's Tomb on the IBM computer. Some of you guys old school may know what that is. It really reminds me of that. And I used to play that game a lot on my computer trying to get past it. And Sidney Hunter really reminds me a lot of that. Yeah. But it's just more colorful, you know, animated and everything. Yeah. And the animations are really good for it.
It's excellent. The thing that I noticed when capturing this footage was, and it was just so much fun, is how much loot there is to capture in this game. Like, loot is everywhere, so you always feel like you're gaining money to spend on upgrades and things like that. Lots of hidden areas. This is a game that's full of those. So if you can't like open a door because you don't have a specific key, well, start busting into walls because you'll probably break one open and there'll be a key
Castlevania
there.
style, like when you get the turkey or whatever that was, the meat behind the freaking wall.
Oh,
and you're like, yeah, it's so weird that you find that in Castlevania.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was hilarious, but yeah, just like that, guys. So definitely, check this game out.
Yeah, highly recommend it. It's really excellent. All right, next up for me is kind of a weird one. I didn't even know I was going to be getting. So, Numbskull, which is a company that makes a bunch of kind of, I don't want to say, they do a lot of promotional stuff for video games. They contacted me and made me into a duck. Look at this. Including the cargo shorts I'm wearing.
I know right away, it was hilarious, man.
And look at my hair. It's like great. I know, I love this thing. So I want to do a huge shout out to these guys. It's Numbskull. I'll put a link down in the video description below. They do a series of these, what they're called Tubbz. They're basically ducks that come in like little bathtubs. And it's not just obviously me, but they just did a Borderlands 3 series. So if you go to GameStop, you'll actually see these on the counter.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. They're competing with Pops and stuff like that. It's their version of it, but it's all duck related. Isn't that hilarious?
This is cool. You got your own card here and everything.
I know. It's so random. And actually, they've been sending these out to some YouTubers and influencers. And so there's been some of these showing up. But as far as I know, that's a one-off right there. Was that cool?
Very cool, man.
I know. I'm immortalized as a duck.
All right, so next game I want to show off, bro. Cool. This game is really took me by surprise.
Okay.
This is Lost Planet Part 3. This is back. Capcom releases back when they were kind of like commissioning other companies to make their IP, make games on their IPs. Like, you know how they made the Devil May Cry sequel, but it was made by another company. Oh. Well, they hired somebody else to make this game, and this game was really, to me, it was really well done. It starts off with a man like going back over his life during he's in this bad situation. He's going back over like how his life was previously, like 50 years prior. Because I think in the beginning he's actually dying or whatnot, and you go over his life pretty much throughout the game when they first arrived to the planet. Because Lost Planet 3 is pretty much a prequel to the first game, and it shows how humans migrated to the planet. And I just thought it was really well done. How the graphics look. I mean, the graphics look outstanding. It drops in frames here and there, but still it feels like a solid game. And you get to get into a mech and everything. I couldn't capture that footage because this game only allows you to save on one file. So when I put new game, it overwritten my file. I was like, dude, what the heck? So I couldn't show you the mech part, but you could like understand like there's actually mech scenes in here. It's a really fun game. The story is really it's really good how it's told and everything. So kind of
the first one.
The first one's more action oriented.
Okay.
This one is the first one that's really story driven, which is great, man. So you can actually start with this one and maybe possibly play the other ones.
Yeah.
But I was really impressed with this game. I picked this up at GameStop. Well, I think it goes at GameStop for like $5.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely try this game out, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments about it too, because I really liked it.
I love these kind of games where they're not super expensive and they're, I hate to, the overused term hidden gems, but this could be one of those where it's like, you know what I mean? It's like nobody talks about it and it's cheap.
Yeah. Huh. Definitely. So.
Okay, I'll have to pick up a copy of that. Cool. Okay, next up is a game I picked up. I went to Pink Gorilla and they had a bunch of original Xbox games. And to my surprise, people were telling me to pick this up. So it's the Terminator 3, The Redemption. So have you played this?
No, but I know of it. This is the second game of Terminator 3 they made because the first one was kind of lame.
Okay.
This one is actually, I was hearing it was good. So
yeah, well, I was having a blast playing this. So it's a third-person shooting game, and it's partially on foot, but then it's also on rails. And so sometimes, actually, a lot of times in this game, you're in a vehicle, whether it's a Jeep or sometimes you're actually like in a helicopter. A lot of shooting. The graphics actually were really impressive. This is actually a really well-made game. It follows pretty loosely the
third Terminator movie.
The third Terminator movie, which a lot of people didn't like the ending. Let me tell you, this fixes that.
Really?
Yes. This has a fantastic ending, in my opinion. So if you didn't like the movie ending, check this one out because I actually thought it was pretty cool. And it correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounded like they're actually using Arnold Schwarzenegger as the voice in here because often you play as the Terminator in this game. Yeah, just a total surprise. I had no idea about this game, and it is kind of a blind pickup. It was actually a brand new copy.
Wow, dude! Okay, I have to look into it. I never gave this game a chance. I just kind of looked it over.
Well, it's hard to tell with these kind of movie tie-in games if it's going to be good or not. This one is. I mean, this one's definitely a little repetitive because it's a lot of shooting. You have to really kind of like shooting. But I was really impressed with the level design, the gameplay. Like the first level, and actually a lot of the levels. Like there's one where you're in LA, you're driving around. It goes on forever. It's really varied. This one in the beginning, it starts off. It's like I think it's basically like a post-nuclear Los Angeles, and it's all destroyed and stuff. It's pretty cool. So
okay,
yeah.
In our last video, you talked about the limited run of Bloodstains.
Yes, that's right.
Well, here's Bloodstain Ritual tonight for PS4 and the Switch.
Nice.
Now, this game is a lot of fun. I'm having a great time with it, but thankfully I got the PS4 version first.
I heard this.
So I don't know by the time of this video, hopefully the patch will be out, but the Switch version needs to be patched pretty bad.
I heard that, yeah.
Yeah, there's some problems with it. But you know what's funny about this game? The Switch version outsold every other version out there easily. Even though this is the worst version, it outsold them. Like,
well, I think, if I was a guest, I'm surprised it's having problems running because, it doesn't seem like it'd be that taxing of a game.
Well,
especially when you got games like Wolfenstein and Doom running on the Switch.
They were originally going to put this game on the Vita, and since they dropped the Vita, I guess they kind of like put support onto the Switch, but I don't think they really developed it.
Yeah,
it was you know what I mean? It was kind of like a last afterthought, possibly.
Yeah.
So hopefully it gets fixed. But other than that, it's a solid game. If you like Metroidvania games, kind of like of course, Castlevania Symphony of the Night is pretty much the godfather of all that. At least to me, it is.
And it's the same developer.
Yeah. Some people might say Metroid though too. But yeah, just a really good game. Music is good. I'm having a good time with it. I haven't beat it yet, but definitely as of this video, I'm playing the PS4 version. Especially I like getting those trophies and everything. But hopefully the Switch version will be fixed. And I guess you could look at it. It is a portable though too at the same time. So if you look at it as a portable, maybe those hiccups it has.
If I was to guess, I suspect it's RAM related.
Yeah.
Is that for whatever reason it probably does use a decent amount of RAM, and the Switch doesn't have as much. So that would be my guess. But it's cool that you have both.
yeah. I like to get both versions because if I'm on the go, got the Switch version.
It's funny you mentioned something that I find myself kind of disappointed too in the lack of trophies and achievements on the Switch. It's dumb, but I wish it had something.
Well, yeah, because Xbox pretty much started it with the achievements. And, they're just like like getting a high score. Pretty much the trophies. It's like the same thing.
they're really good about maybe having you do something you wouldn't normally do. Like oh, you know, explore 12 different areas. You know what I mean? It's an achievement for doing something.
Or try not to get hit by a boss at one time, or when you fight them or something like that. Yeah, exactly.
So I you know, it's probably too late now for Nintendo to do that. But although they brought trophies to the PlayStation 3 late,
they did.
You know, so it's possible.
It's possible.
Nintendo, get on that.
Yeah. Now.
All right. Next up for me. Oh, that's right. PlayStation VR games. You guys know that I have PlayStation VR, and I do like to collect for Everybody's Golf VR. So this is technically Hot Shots Golf. It's a PlayStation VR version of this, and I have to say this is actually a really good game. I really like the Hot Shots Golf series where they're a little bit cartoony, but it's just the right amount of realism. This definitely makes you feel like you are on the golf course, really there. It's pretty cool because you have this cute little Japanese. What are they?
A guide, like or a bagger. What's the?
I'm so bad.
Hold the caddy.
Caddy. There we go. Yeah, and so she's encouraging you. She's giving you information as you're golfing along. But it's really cool to be in VR and standing on the green and feeling like you're really there. And also, too, it uses motion controls in a way that is very sensitive. So you can really finesse the controls here. Like when you're putting. Initially, I was bombing.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm used to kind of just ham-fisting it on the real version of it. You know, the real version, it's a completely different mechanic. But in this one, you really do have to kind of be thoughtful, you know, with your putting or your driving.
In this golfing game, do you get to play at tournaments as well?
Yes.
So is there an audience too while you're at the tournament?
I don't know. Well, that's a good question.
This is funny. Back in the PS2 era, my buddy had this golfing game, and it was like a motion golfing game where you had this thing around you, and you swing the ball and everything. And he said like you would play at tournaments in the game, and he had surround sound, and the audience would like go crazy when you hit the ball. He said, man, he felt like he was really like a golfer and everything. He felt great. Like, it really pumped him up.
Yeah. So okay, I see what you're saying. So like I don't know. I didn't get that far into the game. I was actually just really kind of learning the controls for this one, but immediately I felt immersed in it in a way that I've never felt in a golf game. So if you like golf and you have a PlayStation VR, I highly recommend it. It's really fun.
All right, cool, man. Cool. Next game here is if you guys have played games like Super Puzzle Fighter for PlayStation Arcade as well, here is Crystal Crisis for the Nintendo Switch and the PS4.
I love how you get both.
Yeah, gotta get both versions of it. The PS4 version is definitely the one that is harder to get because it's only available via the website of Nicholas. So that's how I found out about it. So, but that's my preferred system to play it on. But also on the go, I like having it.
I know.
Yeah, this game is actually pretty tough. I mean, they make you go 3 rounds, and I don't know if the original one they made you go 3 rounds with your opponent, but you go 2 out of 3, and you could do like super moves and everything to mess your opponent up. Every character you pick in the game has different moves they can use, but man, it's like a war. So I put the game on normal, but they put up a fight. So, but it's a lot of fun. Though. It's very entertaining, especially if you like the Nicholas characters. As you can see, Astro Boy's in here.
See Astro Boy, yeah.
Who else is here? People probably the Cave Story kids.
Yeah, okay.
Umihara is in here. Isaac from Binding of Isaac.
Oh, okay.
And everything. So yeah, very cool. Definitely a cool game to try out.
You know what would be pretty cool, pretty interesting for them to do is what if they did this? What if say you bought the PlayStation 4 version and then for like $10 more, you could get a version that had a Switch code. You know what I mean?
That would be great.
That would be pretty cool, actually. Get a physical on this and then get the Switch from when it's portable.
I like that idea, but I guess they feel like if it's on Switch, they'll buy it no matter what.
Yeah,
everybody's on that Switch hype train right now.
Oh, sure. Well, I struggle with that because I look at, especially if it's a AAA game where I'm like, oh man, it'd be better on PlayStation 4, but I know I'd probably play it more on Switch.
On Switch, yeah.
Yeah. Gamer problems.
But anyways, guys, it's a good game. I think you guys might want to look into. It's very cool.
Okay. Next up for me is a game that I picked up at PAX, and I believe this is the I Am 8-bit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But anyways, it's the remastered version of Grim Fandango. So this is an old PC adventure game by Double Fine that they remastered and brought. Yeah, there's some cool stuff on the inside. It's considered one of the best and also the most hilarious adventure games ever made, and so it's really cool that they got brought to PS4. In my opinion, they actually fixed the controls a little bit. The original controls were a little funky to use. These are much more intuitive. The graphics are much improved. They just look more, 1080p or whatever.
Okay.
You basically play as the Grim Reaper, and it's kind of the business of the Grim Reaper, and it's awesome. It's hilarious. And you can get it digital, but it's cool to have physical.
I keep thinking of the episodes of Family Guy, of the Death Grim Reaper on Family Guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I forgot the guy's name and voices him, but it's hilarious. But that's what this just reminded me of for a second.
Yeah, and this was cool because it has a little slipcover, too. So had to pick that up, get a physical for that.
Nice, man. Okay, I don't know if a lot of people know about this. We only got this digital in America, but in Japan, they got a physical of it. This is Capcom beat 'em ups, but it's called Belt Action in Japan. This comes with 7 of Capcom's classic beat 'em up games. This is available for PS4 and the Switch. Just to let you guys know.
Version over there somewhere.
Yeah, the Switch. Oh, nice, man. So this is really cool because you can actually play this online with people, and it's drop in and out co-op pretty much. So you don't have to just start a match. If you have your game open, somebody can see you online and drop in and play the game with you. A lot of beat 'em ups from Battle Circuit, which I don't really remember at all.
That was like when I played it on the Switch. I was like, oh, there's some games I hadn't seen on here before, but they're fun to jump into.
Yeah, and this is some of the last ones that Capcom ever made, too. So we're finally getting them released on a system over here, which is pretty crazy. And it has lots of galleries in here that you can look at the art of the game, some of the pre-concepts and everything. Knights of the Rounds in here. Final Fight, of course, is a great game. Everybody loves. I love Final Fight. I have fond memories of that. Captain Commando and all that good stuff. So definitely fun beat 'em. I love beat 'em ups, man.
Yeah, me too. I know. It's funny because I didn't really get into them when I was younger or in high school because
took too many quarters.
Yeah, but now again, you're absolutely right. Now on the Switch or the PS4, it's like you can have a beer and just zone out. And,
exactly.
Yeah, they're fun.
Some people are actually good enough to beat some of these games on quarters. They know exactly how to do it. I'm like, man. Oh man.
All right, next up for me is I believe this is a limited run. This is released. So, have you heard of Headlander?
No.
Oh, dude, this is a trip. I love bringing up this game because every once in a while somebody's like, hey, every game idea has been done to death before. Well, I'm here to tell you that if you are bored with everything else, check out Headlander. It's a freaking just trip. So, yeah, so it's weird. I'm going to try to describe this. Basically, you are an astronaut and you wake up after cryogenics and your body is dead, but your head is alive. Almost like Futurama. You know how in Futurama they have the... So you can't talk, but you basically have a little rocket on where your neck would be, and you can kind of zoom around the levels as the head. And then you can land on the bodies of robots, whether they're humanoid or cleaning or any sort of thing, and then take over their abilities. But more than just that, so it's very puzzle based, but also there's this mechanic, the shooting mechanic, where you can see where your bullet is going to go, so you can be very strategic, almost like a puzzle game with firing off like your weapons. It's got this 1970s style to it.
Yeah. I keep looking at the cover of it, man. Definitely, even the way the
Yep, it looks very Atari, doesn't it?
Yeah, the writing is and everything.
I know.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah, so this was released on physical by Limited Run. They had it at their booth at PAX, so I had to pick it up. So, not an expensive game. I think you can get it for $20-$30. You can get it digital as well.
Okay.
Like I said, it's a really cool game. If it ever goes on sale, definitely pick it up just to play something new and weird and interesting. So, yeah.
Cool, man. Next game here, I believe I talked about it on your channel before, but there was a new version of it released. This is Among the Sleep Enhanced Edition for the PS4 and the Switch. This game makes you play as a baby, kind of like just roaming around the house, a toddler actually, and it's a survival horror game.
I remember this. Okay,
where you play from a toddler's point of view, and he has his little teddy bear as a light. You go around in the house looking for your mother, but you can't find her. Then you find out, you go in the pantry, and there's this little portal to lead you into another dimension under the house. It's really creepy and weird, but it's actually an interesting idea. Now the game is not that long. I know some people probably their first time completing it maybe about 4 or 5 hours, and if you're good at it, probably 3 hours. But the idea is good enough to where I'm happy that they made this as a physical release, because it's actually a really good idea. Because you got to think of it like the eyes of a toddler. What do they see? How do they see things?
Right.
And the game kind of does that in a way. So it's really a creepy, but very interesting. So
this wasn't physical before.
it actually was. It came out on PS4 and only, and I guess they called it Enhanced Edition because they were releasing it on the Switch and everything. But the thing is with that version, this version I believe has all the updates and the DLC embedded on the disc, as whereas the older version you had to download it, of course, but it was free still. But they call it Enhanced Edition for whatever reason, I guess. So, and also another thing, real quick, you can actually play. You get to look at the original version of the game, how it turned out. Like the original version of the game was actually more horror-ish. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So, some of you guys will know what I'm talking about in the comments. I can't remember everything, but yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, next up is a donation from a friend of ours, and his name's Andy. Andy, you watch these videos. I don't remember where you got this.
Okay.
I feel like he was cleaning in his house or something like that. But anyways, it's the computer version of Willow.
Dude, yeah.
Isn't this a trip? So he reached out to me. He's like, hey, I have this old PC game. I guess this came out on the NES, right?
It did, but I think this version might be based off the Capcom arcade. I'm not really sure.
Well, this version is weird because it seems like it's a lot of different styles of games. Like it has almost like an adventure mode, first-person dungeon crawler section.
Right. Okay, so this is not the Capcom version.
And then it has like third-person adventure, wandering through the forest sections. It's got a... if you remember part of the movie where they're on the sled and they're going through the snow, it's got that on here, and this is not a good game.
But you can forgive it for that because look how
I know
cool the art is.
I know.
Mad Mordican, I win this war for you. Willow, this is great, man. I love that movie.
Do you?
Oh yeah,
cool.
Big fan of that movie. I wish they
George
made a sequel.
Lucas. Post Star Wars.
And Ron from Happy Days directed this, I think. I can't remember.
Did Ron Howard direct
Ron
it?
Howard, thank you.
Okay, so George Lucas probably produced it, maybe.
Yeah.
I forget.
I know Ron Howard definitely directed this one.
Interesting. Huh.
I remember me and my parents saw this in the movie theater.
Yeah.
It was a long line, I remember. But yeah. Good movie.
Yeah, just a really uncommon PC game, so thank you, Andy. This is a that's really cool addition.
Man. All right, so next game here. I got this from PlayAsia. This is Death Road to Canada for the Switch. This is a physical. As far as I know, the only physical they made of
I've
it.
never seen that before.
And this game is weird because you're trying to get to Canada because it's like a safe haven.
Yeah.
And you're taking pretty much a trip to Canada and making stops, picking up items, and trying to get there alive. It kind of reminds me of Oregon Trail a little bit, but more of an action-oriented Oregon Trail.
Randomized. Pretty much all of it's randomized. It's funny. You pick up characters, they may die off. The characters that you pick up might have certain abilities that can help you out for a while. It's a pretty epic game. This has a huge following online where people talk about how quickly they can get to Canada and how few people die. I mean, there's huge competitions online just to sort of play through this game. It's actually a really well-made game. A ton of variety, and people love talking about their adventure. Like, oh, what happened to you when you got to Canada, or on your way there?
And you meet all kind of cool people on the way there. So glad they made it a physical, man.
That's pretty cool. Awesome. Next up for me is another random game. I like the James Pond games. Have you played any of these?
I have, dude. I actually talked about one recently in a video because they made a Switch copy. Well, not.
Oh, did they?
Technically, they didn't. They made a cover for it with additional code inside.
Well, yeah. So this is the third one. I picked it up because Kelsey just happened to have it in her store, and I was like, "Oh, I don't have the third one."
Part 3, yeah. That's the.
Yeah, this is. I don't know how many they made, but I think they only made 3 on the Genesis. But these are really fun games. They're very silly. You basically play a frog. I believe is he a spy? I don't remember. This one is hard though. I was capturing the footage and I was dying a lot. So it might just be one of those things where either I suck or I haven't recently played the other one. So
I always never like the cartridges. These are like the sports cartridges.
Yeah,
EA was infamous for.
Yeah. I know, they just look weird, don't they?
They do. They do.
Cool, so, anyways, I don't really go after Genesis games, but if I do see one that is interesting, I'll go. And this one was cheap, so
okay.
Yeah.
All right, next game here. I actually talked about this on the channel before, but I thought I had to bring it up again. This is Remi Lore for the Switch and the PS4. Now, the PS4 copy was advertised with the original release of the game, but it was nowhere to be found when the Switch version came out. So people were like asking, what happened to the PS4 copy? And I don't know if they announced it or advertised it, but they're only selling it on their website as far as the PS4 version. So if you're looking for that version, that's where to get it. Now, Remi pretty much plays like an isometric beat 'em up game. Very colorful. Very
grindy.
Yeah, very grindy.
Yeah.
Lots of fun. You know, a lot of dungeon crawler games, they're kind of somewhat ugly because you're in a dungeon kind of and it doesn't look that great. But this game is different. You know, it's very colorful and you're like on this kind of like, you're inside of a book and you're on this like the sky palace type area.
It's floating in the air.
Yeah, it looks really, it's just really nice to look at. But I have to advise some people, your character, she makes some of the weirdest sounds, so you might want to mute her a little bit or have her voice down a little bit because it sounds weird when she gets attacked or beat down or whatever. But definitely a cool game. I think you guys will like it, so check out Remi, however you can pick it up on Switch or PS4.
All right, next up for me, I'll go with this one here. So this is a new release by the people who made Quest for Glory for Sierra. So I mentioned in the previous video that I went to a Sierra party recently at PAX, and the original developers of Quest for Glory were there, and this is basically their kickstarted version of continuing that franchise.
Okay.
So it's actually pretty cool. Those are beloved games, and this is, like I said, a brand new version of it. I believe this one also has like a manual, and it's got like a little coin in there and stuff like that. They were selling these at an expo recently, and I have not played it yet, but I was actually really interested. The thing that's cool about the Quest for Glory series that makes it different than almost every other Sierra release back in the day is that they are very much a mix of traditional adventure, point and click, but with RPG elements. So it actually has different classes that you can play. They have combat and things like that. So they're actually pretty cool and interesting. So this one's called Hero U. And they're also usually very funny. They have lots of puns and things like that. So, yeah.
I like the cover art.
Yeah. So, again, I haven't played it yet, but I am definitely looking forward to it. It got great reviews, so when it came out, it did.
Okay. Next here, used to be a point-click type game, but they kind of transitioned it into more of a venture more control game. I double dipped, guys. This is Siberia Park 3 limited edition. My buddy got me this version because it comes with the original soundtrack and it comes with an art book and everything.
That's a new cover too.
Yeah. Only released in PAL territories. I really like the Siberia games.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd show that, let people know about that one out there. So
when you say double dibs, because
I own the original American release of it. But I love this cover for it and everything.
That's a cool cover.
And it comes with a soundtrack too. The soundtrack comes with a download voucher and a CD. So I like how they did that.
That's cool. Covering all their bases.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, next up for me, another Switch game that came out, and that is, I got to get this right, Candle, The Power of the Flame.
Oh, I heard about this game.
Yeah, so it's not hand-drawn, but it definitely kind of almost looks like it's a hand-drawn game. It's a 2D platforming game, puzzle game. It's heavy on puzzles. So much so that I had to watch a little bit of a walkthrough because I'm like, where, I'm stuck, right?
Right.
And I'm not the best at puzzle games. It's probably because I'm dumb. But I'm not really super far into this game either. You guys are seeing the footage as to how far I got.
Is it saturated with puzzles? Like everywhere you go, there's some kind of puzzle?
Absolutely. There is a little bit of a platform in this game where you have to jump and you have to time your stuff.
Right.
But like the puzzles in this is that like you have to carry a flame, and make it through. Like there's at one point there's a waterfall or this water's. You have to time getting that flame through the water so you can get over to the other side to catch something on fire. That will unlock this. That will, you know what I mean? It's just very much sort of like do this, then that happens. I'm not great at those games, but I really like the art style.
Okay.
Yeah.
It look. I mean, me puzzle games is like too much puzzle in the beginning. It kind of turns me off sometimes. I like a little bit of flow, but it looks like a nice game.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to point it out because I don't think people realize that these type of games are out on Switch.
Yeah.
And I just picked this up at I believe it was GameStop, so it's not hard to find. So something a little bit different.
Cool. Next game here is I got for the Switch Umihara Kawase. This is a game series that started originally on the Super Famicom, went to the PlayStation, PSP, now Switch. Think about Bionic Commando, but more to me, a little bit more complicated because of the way her grappling hook works. It's like
physics based.
Yeah, it's physics based pretty much. So I was having a little bit of trouble in the beginning to like, because I was playing it recently and I had totally forgot how to play it, so I had to get used to it and everything. And
the levels are kind of open, so it's not always clear maybe where you need to go or how to get
this
there.
This one's a little bit different. This one will point to you where you need to go,
okay, good.
But you can also explore as well, so that keeps the flow going and everything. But this one's more mission based than the other games are. So I don't know if a lot of people will like that or whatnot, but it's still pretty fun. And like I said, the levels are short. It's very colorful. Glad I got a physical release.
I remember you talked about the original on the PlayStation 1 back in the day.
I think I talked about the Vita one that came out on the channel, about the Vita one. Then I did talk about the PlayStation one too. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this game.
Okay. Next up for me, also on the Switch, I don't know if this is a remake, remaster. It's not a remake, but it's the Switch version.
Oh wow!
Final Fantasy XII: The Zodiac Age. So this also came out on other systems, the PlayStation 4 and stuff. This is one of my favorite Final Fantasy games on the PlayStation 2. I really enjoyed it at the time because I love the character design. The story is really political and epic. And also has a really interesting combat mechanic, and I guess people compare it to like online games like World of Warcraft, where you basically you'll see it on the screen here, but it points to the enemy as your target. Like literally, there's a line that comes out of your character, right? And so you can really control sort of where the focus of your attacks and your party's attacks are. And it also has this very complex system in there where you can program how you want your party to react. So you don't have to micromanage so much. Right. You can actually create, like, I forget what they're called, but little macros that basically tell them, like, hey, if your health gets down, less than 20%.
Start healing people.
Yeah, exactly.
I got this game back on PS2 when it first came out, but I fell off on it. I just couldn't get into it. But what I did like about it, man, the voice acting was really well done in the game. It was really impressive.
No, you can tell that they put a lot of time and money into this game. I get, it's definitely one of the Final Fantasies. It's a love-hate sort of game because I don't think they ever use that combat mechanic again because it is pretty complex and it's different than all the other ones. And so, but I never finished it on the PS2. I got really, really far and then got stuck. It's one of those where I had
to probably finish this one.
Yeah, exactly, because I'll be able to play it over. And I have put a couple hours into it, and it looks great. So
cool, man. Next game I have here, this is a sealed copy of it, but I was lucky enough to get a copy of this.
It's funny. So the other day I was going, what is that game that has graphics from like the mid 90s, but it's new? And I was sitting there, and so I'm Googling old graphics, new game, and a billion options came up. I'm like, this isn't helpful.
Yeah, dude, this is back in 1995 for the Vita. PlayAsia, East Asia Soft released this, and I have it on the PC because I downloaded it and played that one, but they made a physical for it, so I wanted to get my hands on it. It's weird they put it on the Vita, though. I thought they would have aimed for more like a Switch or PS4.
Yeah, that's weird.
But you know what happened? This game sold out within like an hour or so, hour and a half or so, like as soon as it went released. So I haven't opened this one because I play my PC version of it, of course. But this game is kind of like a survival horror game. It's kind of like goes back with the graphics, the old school graphics, the older survival horror games like maybe Alone in the Dark, Resident Evil, Silent Hill-ish. But I haven't got that far in it yet, so I can't really tell you too much of the story. But it does have some crazy camera angles. I'll let you know that.
Honestly, that's its gimmick. It's like a brand new PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
now, is this the same game that has PlayStation 1 graphics, and then it has 16-bit graphics, and then like there's a game out there that it switches from even more?
No, not that I know of.
Okay.
So
I'm looking for. Tell me what game I'm referring to. It's a game out there that basically switches from PlayStation 1 to NES graphics to like Turbo Graphics 16 graphics.
Really?
Yeah, and it does it all between different levels. So
I have to check that one out. Let us know because I'm interested in that one too.
Or maybe I've made that up and someone should make it.
But back in 1995, you really playing this game, you feel like you're back in the 90s. So that's I love the 90s.
Well, and a Vita. That's crazy. All right, next up for me is I'm going to do both of these at the same time because they both kind of.
Okay.
Okay. Walking into Pink Gorilla, every once in a while they have like Xbox games I've never seen before. These were brand new. I opened them and played them. And both of them are kind of like, eh.
I almost bought that one.
The Chicago Enforcer?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Chicago Enforcer is a first-person game. It's kind of a gangster-style game, you know. It's not great, you know.
But is it, like, so good? I mean, so bad it's good, kind of?
Sure.
Really? Sure.
That all depends on how much you pay for it. I didn't pay. I think I paid $5 for this, and you know, it's a first-person gangster game. The reason why I'm not crazy about it, the shooting is fine. It's just that the levels I found to be fairly sparse, at least as far as I got. You know what I mean? It feels like it's like they could have tried a little harder, but it isn't. It's like an Xbox exclusive, which I thought was kind of weird.
What is that with the cigarette and holding the gun? Like,
yeah, I know.
So
it looks
cool.
Yeah. And then the other one I picked up the same day, Ford versus Chevy. So I had to pick this up because I love racing games. This is not terrible. What I like about this is that if you don't live in the US, you don't know what this reference is, but for decades now, Ford and Chevy have been kind of rivalries in the U.S. as far as, you know, automakers, right? And so they go back and forth about who makes the best cars, who are the fastest cars. And so here's the game that tries to answer that.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's funny because the announcers play up the rivalry.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, and by the way, I'm a Ford guy, so you know. But anyway, so yeah, kind of a cheesy little driving game on the Xbox. So.
All right. Next here, so this is a DS game I got, and this is I've been looking for this for years. This is a Chronos Twin for the not 3DS but DS system.
Is that original seal?
Yeah, this is the game only got a physical release in PAL territories. In America, it was released as a download only. So pretty much with the dual screens, you control two twins, and you control them differently. Like one of them could be in a different environment, but you control them at the same time. So it has that gimmick for it. I thought it was a very interesting game, and it should have got a physical release in America, but thankfully it got a physical release in PAL territories. And I actually still have the original downloaded on my 3DS, but I haven't opened this one yet. I should break the seal on it because.
Wow, I've never seen that before. That's cool. Huh. Crazy.
But Chronos Twin, check it out, guys. Let me know what you think.
All right, next up for me, Donut County. So have you played this yet?
No, I've seen it though.
Yeah, so I covered this on the Switch video a while back, but this is the physical version for the PlayStation 4. I think it might be the only physical version I've ever seen personally. This is an IM 8-bit release here. Donut County is actually pretty cool. So you know how Katamari Damacy, where you roll the ball around and the more you pick up, the bigger you get.
Right.
In Donut County, what happens is that you control the hole that is in the earth and you swallow stuff up.
Oh, okay.
And the more you swallow, the bigger that hole gets. So you start off by only being able to pick up like, you know, yard furniture, but then pretty soon you're picking up like lawn, you know, like furniture, houses, buildings, everything like that. And then there's this wacky story that involves, and Kinsey can tell you all about the story. I was like, it's nuts. But basically all the garbage goes down and collects, and then these animals are collecting garbage. Don't worry about that. The game itself actually is just really fun, really solid.
Okay, cool.
Huh, Susie?
Susie's here.
She's like, I heard there's going to be garbage that you can eat.
This next game here, I pretty much have all the Castlevania games, at least in America. And I didn't have this one. This is Castlevania Lords of Shadows, Mirrors of Fate. Now you can get this game as a download on the Castlevania Lords of Shadow Resurrection Collection, I think it's called. But of course we go for the physical here, and I found this at GameStop. This one I think plays like the old school Castlevania games, like more traditional 2D platforming pretty much. I haven't really got that too much into it yet, but still, I mean, I really like the Lords of Shadow games. Have you played them?
I played this one quite a bit.
Oh, have you? Okay.
I did. So I like this game a lot because for many reasons. One, it's a 2.5D, so it's actually 3D backgrounds that you can kind of look into, and this is a fantastic use of the 3D effect of the 3DS. Like, it really shows that really well. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
And like you said, it's very traditional Castlevania. It's a little bit slower than traditional Castlevania. Yeah. So actually, some people compare it to like a mix of Castlevania and like God of War.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So it's not some people love it, some people not so much. If you look at it, if you take it on its own, I actually think it's a pretty cool game. And I played it for a long time.
And the story in it is pretty good, like the way the voice acting is and everything.
Yeah.
They do a really good job. The presentation is great.
It's a quality game. I mean, they really put some time and effort into it. So, yeah, definitely check it out. Next up for me is another PlayStation VR game that got a physical release called The Wizards Enhanced Edition. So, this is a first-person wizard game, and basically it's kind of exactly what it sounds like, where you play a wizard and you do magic using the motion controls to like create a barrier that can be a shield or throw fireballs. And that's pretty much what this is. So I don't really want to oversell it. It's just basically, if you want to be a wizard and you want to do it in VR and in kind of like a medieval setting, it's actually pretty cool. So I will say though that the motion controls can be frustrating because it is tracking not only just movement in 3D space, but also like the twists and turns of your hands. So sometimes you actually have to twist your wrist yeah, so it's a little bit complicated. So if you buy this game, walk through the tutorial, give yourself some time, because you're going to be doing a lot of movement with your hands. So it gets pretty crazy, but it's a pretty neat game.
All right. Next up here. This was probably one of the last DS games I wanted to get, and I forgot the name of it, but I found it at a local store about a few months ago. This is Miami Law. This game is pretty much like a jack of all trades. Like it has driving parts, parts where you figure out clues, some parts where you use sniper weapons and all that stuff. Like
Hudson. Yeah,
Hudson made it. It's a really cool game. It just has a lot of different elements to it, so it's hard to kind of like put it in a certain category, because it's like
you didn't find this at GameStop, did you?
No, I found it at the store that's right next. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a comic store at the same time. I can't remember.
Wow, this has got to be uncommon though.
Yeah, definitely uncommon, because I totally forgot what the game was called, and I just happened to go in that shop. I didn't expect to find it, and they had it there. I was like, "Yep, I want this game immediately."
Wow,
so
interesting.
If any of you played Miami Law, let me know what you think of it. It's definitely one of the last DS games I was looking for, because I haven't bought like a DS game in a while.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, you hardly ever find them.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Miami Law.
Okay. Next up for me is Cryptic Passage. So this is for the game Blood. Blood is a build engine game. So the build engine is what made is what Duke Nukem 3D used. But Blood, when it first came out, was a like horror version of that. It's like gross, over the top violence and horror built on that engine. And these are 10 extra levels for that. So it's not really you'd have to love the original game, but this is I came across a copy of this, and so I thought this is pretty cool. Yeah, it's like 10 new levels. Blood is a game actually that I'm looking for. It's actually pretty hard to find on physical, anymore. It's kind of crazy. Cool, yeah. Man. Big box PC games. Yep.
Next here, I want to show this game I got for PlayStation. This is called Extra Bright. This is like a rail. This is pretty much a rail shoot 'em up game. I would say 3D. Like I think I'm categories right. I'm not really sure. I have some from Susie things. This game is pretty much like a rail shoot 'em up, I would say, and lots of anime cutscenes in it. Very story driven, but
you find the craziest stuff,
dude. This game is so much fun, though, man. I was like, wow, this is like a cool game. Like the racing is like all over the place. You make all these crazy turns, jump on other platforms. The bosses are pretty cool as well. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with the story because I can't read Japanese.
Yeah, but the gameplay is good, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Yeah, it's a really cool game, man. I was pretty surprised with it.
Are you looking for? So you're kind of always looking for, like import PS1 games.
I don't really look for them. It's just that I'll if I see something somewhere, obviously I'll go and look at them. And if I see something interesting, I'll usually look up gameplay of it and say, oh, this looks interesting. Wow, I want to pick this up. So that's how I usually do it these days because there's so many imports out there.
So you don't have like a list of imports you're looking for?
I don't anymore. I may have a couple, but not really. I just go by what I find.
See, that's the thing for me is that I don't know. I guess what you're saying is that you don't necessarily know either because when you see a wall of imports, you're like, and you're looking at the spines, you're like, where do you start? You know what I mean?
Seriously, yeah.
It's crazy, huh? Okay. 2 more for me. So second to last one is 8-Bit Adventure Anthology Volume 1. This is a limited run release here. Total blind buy. They have Shadowgate, The Uninvited, and Deja Vu on here. So those are what, NES? Were those all the NES? I'm trying to think if they also came out on PC, but they're basically first-person adventure games. And this is the one game in this video where I kind of regret buying it. Yeah, these are... you know what? If you like these games, more power to you. I'm not crazy about them. I don't know. They're hunt and peck,
right? Point
and click, and I prefer PC style as opposed to these. I don't know what it is. So.
Or just better games, of course.
Yeah, I mean, some people like these.
Oh wow! Never mind. Yeah.
Let me know down in the comments if I'm missing something, because I tried 2 of them to capture the gameplay footage.
Well, it says Volume 1 on here. There's a Volume 2 coming out, or
I don't know. We'll see.
All right.
Yeah. So I don't. Not to poo-poo that, but let me know in the comments if I am, grossly, misinterpreting that.
Okay. Next item here. This is I bought this off a friend. This is the Star Ocean PSP.
Oh, interesting.
It came out in Japan only. You guys know I'm a pretty big Star Ocean fan. I love those games. And this PSP I only saw once, but my buddy found it. And I had to have it because I love the Star Ocean series. It's probably one of my top favorite RPG series out there.
This is a 2000 model, probably?
You could tell by the home button. Home button, this is a... Let's see here. This is a 2000 model, yeah. Okay. You know, the 3000 will have the PlayStation logo on the button there.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
So, yeah, okay. That's how you kind of could tell between them. But anyways, yeah, happy to have this. Star Ocean, like I said, is one of my favorite RPG series of all time. And now I have the PSP system for it. You know,
I think I mentioned this before. The one PSP that I'm looking for, I'd like a lot of them, but the Hannah Montana one.
The purple one, yeah.
Because it's actually a really cool color of purple.
You know who had it for the longest time? Super Smash Games.
Oh, really?
It was sitting there for years. They had it in box and everything. And
really?
I never pulled the trigger on it because it's just like...
Again, I'm not... Hannah Montana, whatever. But again, the purple on it is actually, especially in person, it actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a taffy purple, right?
Yeah, it is. And I think it only says Hannah Montana on the back, so you can kind of get away with it. You can still be cool. All right, well, the last thing for me is pretty cool. I was sent an email from a fan of my channel. His name's Justin, and he wanted to know, he's kind of thinning out his collection. And when people thin out their collections, unfortunately, one of the things that kind of sometimes has to go by the wayside are these big collector's editions with figures in them.
Right.
They just take up a ton of room. And so he very generously offered to send this to me, and I was blown away by it. He sent it with the box and everything. And that is the Kratos and Kid boy.
That's right, boy.
Of this figure, of God of War. So... absolutely fantastic design.
Yeah, it looks great, man. Yeah. And that game, too, man. Oh, my God.
The game is... it's funny because I was trying to tell Paul, because Paul was like, what should I check out that's new? And, dude, you got to check out God of War. Just from a technical level, that game is amazing. I didn't realize this until I watched a review of it, but there are no cuts in that game. There's no...
Everything just keeps going
Everything happens kind of like in real time.
Wow.
So, in addition to just being a fantastic game and a really interesting story, I thought this was a beautiful figurine. So, this has been over in my my case over there along with my other one. So,
nice.
This is very cool. So, thank you so much, Justin. This is really cool.
All right.
Is that it for you?
I have some extras, but I think I'm over the limit, so we'll save these probably for another video.
Very cool. All right, dude, where can people find you on the internet?
Radical Reggie, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find me there, so appreciate it.
All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and take care. At the end here, I have a question for you guys. Reggie and I are a little curious as to whether you guys would like these pickups videos to be a little bit shorter. Specifically, what if we scaled back the games and cut these down to, say, about 20 or 30 minutes? Now, obviously, you have watched this video this far, so you probably are used to these being longer, but we're curious to know down in the comments if you would like to see them get a little bit shorter, or if you like them the length that they are. All right, guys, have a great day.